Hello. Thank you again for going to my first video. This is lesson number 2, my second video. I got a number of emails asking for a follow-up. So here we go. Today I'm going to talk about understanding the chords that you play. Or coming up with a system of how you can understand and name the chord that you play. First thing I need you to do is memorize this. A, C, E, G, B, D, F. A, C, E, G, B, D, F. If you memorize that, you will be able to name just about any chord that you play. You'll be able to use that system and use some version of A, C, E, G, B, D, F. And the reason why I want you to memorize that is because chords are built in thirds. That means every other note. So A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, D, B, C, D, E, F. So I just memorized it like this. A, C, E, G, B, D, F. So if there was some sort of F chord and you've memorized A, C, E, G, B, D, E, G, B, D, F. If you memorize that, if you start an F chord, then you just jump in that sequence, F, A, C, E. So the F chord would have some version of A, C, and E in it. So let's say, for instance, you started a chord on B. So B, D, F, A, B, D, F, A. So if you memorize that sequence of notes, you'll be able to spell and recognize anything, any chord you play, you'll be able to recognize it that way. All right, again, chords are built in thirds, so it's every other note. So we're going to start with we're going to start in the key of C, and we're going to play a C chord. C, E, G. Every other note. C, E, G. So if you think about the A, C, E, G, B, D, F, A, C, E, G, B, D, F, if you memorize that, if you start on C, A, C, E, G, B, see how that pattern works? C, E, G, B, D, F, A, C, E. So if you memorize that, and it's not hard, if you memorize that, you'll be able to name and label your chords very easily. All right, so we're going to start in C. So let's say C, E, G. That's a C major chord. So we're in the key of C. So we're talking about diatonic in the key of C. And diatonic simply means in the key. So we're not adding any sharps or flats. It's in the key. C, E, G. Those are the notes that naturally fall in the key of C. C, E, G. That's a major chord. Now, I say that there are two types of chords, major and minor. And then you have variations of those two chords. Now, an augmented chord, to augment something means to make it bigger. So you take C, E, G, and you take the fifth, which is G, and you raise it by a half step. And you have sharp, G sharp. That's augmented. C, E, G sharp. Just take the fifth and raise it a half step. C, E, G sharp. That gives you augmented. C major, C, E, G, C augmented, C, E, G sharp. All right, same thing, C minor. You take the C major chord, C, E, G, and then you take the third and you lower it by a half step. Then you have E flat. So there's that pattern again, but you have a E flat instead of E natural. So C, E flat, G, same thing. So it's minor. You just take and lower the third. C, E flat, G. Now, to make something diminished, you make it smaller. To diminish something, you make it smaller. So you have C, you take a minor chord and you make it a little smaller. So you take the fifth of the minor chord and you lower it by a half step. So you have C, E flat, G flat, C, E flat, G flat. So even in a C diminished chord, you have that pattern C, E, G. You just have some versions of C, E, a version of E, like an E or an E flat, a G or a G flat, or in the instance of an augmented chord, you have a C, E, G sharp. But the whole point is in that whole pattern, if you memorize that pattern, then you will be able to start to name your chords. A, C, E, G, B, D, F.